We are live. Welcome to the Money GPS Live. I'm just getting everything sorted out on my end. Thank you for coming on in. Just fixing up everything here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. All right. Good stuff. Looking good on my end. Let's get the Instagrams and the TikToks going. All right. Thank you all for coming on in. Just take me a couple minutes here to get set up. All right. Instagram's good. TikTok, you're probably hearing the air conditioning in the back. Ignore that. But I won't survive without it. All right. TikTok's live, Instagram's live. We are all good. 27 people in the house right now. Today, just wanted to cover quickly, Lynn Alden has confirmed, just as of like an hour ago or something, Lynn Alden has confirmed that she would do an interview on the 17th. So, of course, I want to know what you want asked. Of course, this is the channel that's built around the viewer instead of, this guru and all this nonsense. I am a student just like you are. We are here together to learn. So I am here to ask Lynn Alden the questions that you find the most interesting. I'll kind of, paraphrase and take bits and pieces from what you guys suggest, and then come up with like a composite of different questions to ask her. So that's going to be done on the 17th, and then I will post that video in the following days. All right. Hello, Instagram. Thank you for coming in. TikTok is live. Love that TikTok. The kittens. Yes, yes, yes. We got to get those kittens back. Lynn came here for the truth. Yes. All right. Can you ask her what her interpretation is of the current legislation written into the infrastructure bill, specifically in relation to BTC and proof of work networks? All right. Let me get that down. I'm just going to write everything down. Infrastructure bill regarding crypto. All right. Phoenix, Arizona. Much respect to the Money GPS channel. Thank you. Thank you. All right. See what? I'd rather watch paint dry. I have more than 3 months of food and water stored. Those are all the stocks I need right now. Awesome. Good work. Hello, TikTok. Ask your questions. What's up, buddy? Hey, rethinking the dollar. How are you? Good stuff. Hey, Mike. Mike, is there a way that I can get you in on my live? Are you available for live on YouTube? If you're available for live on YouTube, let's do it right now. If you can, let me know. I don't know how to do that. You're the pro. We got Mike from Rethinking the Dollar on Instagram now. If I can get him in, this would be fun. You're living on social media illusions. Who is? Good stuff, TikTok. Ask your questions. GameStop. A lot of people want to know about GameStop. They've been spending a lot of time on Reddit, probably, those people. Yeah. Probably spending a lot of time on Reddit. I know. I think, let me just answer the Reddit AMC GME. I think people are really, really excited for the stock to go ballistic again, and it certainly can. But what I would say is that people should be more interested in simply trying to make money consistently over a period of time, instead of let me put all my things right here and let it just skyrocket. I don't think that's the right way to do it. That's just me, though. All right. Will inflation cause a loss of confidence in the dollar? Is that for Lynn Alden or for me? But I can ask her about that. Talk about inflation, deflation for sure. I'm just writing all these questions down, by the way. Very cool collaboration question. Would you rather I watch on YouTube or Instagram? Which, yeah, definitely YouTube. Anytime you're watching anything, highly recommend doing so on YouTube. I desperately need the everybody coming to YouTube. The performance has just been atrocious. Yesterday's video, just no viewers were there. Good stuff, TikTok. TikTok, how are you? My TikTok is growing dramatically. I saw on the news, look, epic. Bitcoin, talking about Bitcoin here. Yeah, for any particular stocks, I can't give financial advice, but there's a lot of information on TikTok about financial advice. What I would say about Bitcoin is that it can absolutely rally from this point, but we're talking about a risk on asset. If they start to taper, which the plan is for October timeframe to begin a taper, then you're going to start to see risk coming off, and I would be very careful. But for right now, risk is still on. Awesome. Thank you for the support. Thanks as always. Love chat members' questions. You are all the best. Yes, we have some of the best people like available in the comment sections. I'm telling you, because I've learned so much just from my own comment section. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. All right. Okay. Don't forget to hit that like button, everybody. Hey, what's this? Facebook. Oh. It shows my Facebook likes in here too. Okay, that's interesting. 87 people in the house right now. 48 likes. Hit that like button. Don't forget to do that. TikTok. TikTok sending me gifts, apparently. That's great. Thank you for that. All right. I'm short AMC. It's absurd. Yeah. A lot of people are suggesting, it's going to go higher and higher. Who knows? I really don't understand. Hey, finally got you live. Yes, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. We are here, whatever, like obviously the topic of today is Lynn Alden, doing an interview with her in the coming next week, I believe that is. So of course, submit your questions. Let's talk about that, but also I can answer your questions now. I just wanted to kind of just get a sense of what you guys want for that interview so I can make sure that it's best for you. Thoughts on DeFi? Okay. I'm writing all the questions down that you guys submit, and I'm going to make a composite of questions to ask. Fed money printing. Zach, trust me, that's on the list. That's definitely on the list. The Fed. I will definitely be asking about that. That's my favorite subject because we know that the Federal Reserve controls anything and everything. I just talked about it a moment ago, but some people are just entering the room now. I just saw an article. I think I have it here. Where is it? No, I lost it. That the Federal Reserve is intending on actually cutting interest rates. That the Federal Reserve is intending on cutting their money printing as of October, according to Kaplan of the Fed. That's what they're looking for. It doesn't mean that's not a policy yet, but that's what they're looking to do. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much for the support. I appreciate that. Thank you. Will bonds be essentially worthless if the dollar collapses? Thank you again for the support. I actually think that bonds may do well in a deflation. Now, how deep is this collapse? Like the dollar is worthless and everything is just going to nothing. Like we're in like Mad Max scenario, then who knows? But generally, the higher the risk, the more return you get on your bonds. So like look at Greece Greece, Spain, Italy, Portugal, all throughout, let's say 2011 to 2013, almost that time frame, the rates were crazy. Like what you would get for some of that junk, which I would call it junk, is specifically like was like historically high, at least for this recent past, and then everything came down from there. Like it went into the negative. I mean, it's crazy. Why in the world was such negative, like such risky bets become negative yielding? Like it's just crazy. So they survived. They survived, right? People were able to get in at those high rates. That turned out good for them. So who knows? Who knows? That's what I would say. Why is Cardano going up? All of the different cryptos seem to be just rising. I haven't checked today specifically, but why? It's because it's a risk on kind of world right now until the Federal Reserve taper begins, until the interest rate hikes begin. It's risk on. It's risk on. Why specifically Cardano? That's just where the money's flowing. It could be in anything, really. Could have been anywhere. Trust me. Trust me. Fed money printing will be discussed. I'm on the fence a bit, but last year's money printing will prevent a market drop, but you will see it in a cost of living increase outpacing the wage gains by commodity workers. So the market, the way the market works is it prices in what happens in the future, and we've basically priced in perfection at this point, and we've also priced in a never-ending cycle of easy money and a lot of money printing. So should that change, should that policy change, it would have a very, very deep effect on the stock market. There's no doubt about it. Look at 2018 as an example. Think about it. 2017 was an epic year for stocks, month after month after month. Every single month throughout 2017, stocks were higher after it. Historically does not happen very often. And what happened? 2018, we had the VIX being a whole problem, but at this point, then you saw the governments around the world started to reduce the amount of money that they were printing, and the global balance sheet started to decline. Not much, but it did decline, and that just destroyed markets around the world. So I would be very cautious about what the Federal Reserve is doing and how that relates to my portfolio. Thank you for the support. Can you ask Lynn about uranium? Yes, uranium. I'm writing all these down. Do you have a specific, like, is she bullish on it? Is she bearish on it? Is that kind of where you're going with that? If you put another, let me see. If you put another comment in the chat, I can just confirm that. I just want to know specifically what your question is. Rethinking the Dollar, where are you, man? Mike from Rethinking the Dollar was here. All right, let's see what we got. TikTok, feel free to ask questions. TikTok, ask your questions, financial questions, economy questions. She is bullish, just an update. Okay, perfect. Anybody else wants to know about uranium? Anything else? Update. All right. I'm writing down all of the questions that I receive for Lynn Alden. I will make a composite of the kind of questions that, come through here. Uranium is a good investment long term as coal-fired plants will be going away. It seems like that's kind of what's happening, whether people think it's the right thing or the wrong thing or what have you. I think that's the way it's going. All right. I made it. Long drive through lines and now hiring signs. Go stimulus. Yes. There's now hiring. So from what I've heard from people all around the world, there are now hiring signs all over the place. You may be interested. I emailed Louis Rossman. I think that's how his name is pronounced. Louis Rossman. I think he's from New York, and I had shown his video, the image of his video on my YouTube channel before in a previous video, just showing you like how empty things are. Things are just not good, and essentially I want to get an update directly from him because I know a lot of people pay attention to his channel. Emailed him. I'll see what happens if I can get a reply. I'm trying to bring in interesting people who have interesting things to say into the channel, trying to revitalize the channel as it decays into nothing. Okay. Let's see. The largest gains always happening in the melt-up stage just before the collapse. I completely agree with that. And it's usually the unsufficient. All right, I'm back. What's good? Bullish on BTC. If I check Bitcoin's chart right now, could be able to give you a little bit more insight. I'll see where we're at today. The stock markets are up, so it's a risk on day. NASDAQ was not. And by the way, I've been telling people NASDAQ trading at the same level it was back on July the 7th. So we have been in this range for about a month, up and down and up and down. And I think what the markets need is the infrastructure bill to pass, debt ceiling to be raised, stimulus to be pushed out. So we're looking at Bitcoin. Yeah, it's kind of been trading in the range for 4 days now, 3-4 days. 45, 830 still looks relatively bullish in terms of the technicals. I mean, where is it going to go? That's anyone's best guess. But I think as long as we have this risk on mentality in the markets, then cryptocurrencies can continue to be moving higher. If we go to risk off, if we go to more, it's going to be a deflation, then we've got some issues here, okay? Do you think Bitcoin will free us from the central banks? I do not. That's not to say that I don't like it or anything. I just don't. I think the central banks are in much more control than most are willing to believe. Jobs question for you, Money GPS. Is the new trend of Americans working from home setting those employees for possible outsourcing these jobs to out of the countries at lower wages? I do agree with that. I think that's just going to be the case. Now, how are they going to do that? It's going to be very unpopular to just fire whole departments and then send them off to India or what have you. I think it's going to be a multi-stage approach. I think you're going to have at some point there's going to be a financial crisis and they got to fire a whole bunch of people. When they rehire, then they start going to robots and automation if they can. And then I also think that perhaps we're going to see a new team opening up in these different countries, and then they're being outsourced to that country, just the way it is. Or they get hired at a minimum wage and previously they were making twice that or something. I think that could happen. Absolutely. Can you pitch your merch more often? Sure. I got that right here. Love my, actually right here. Passive is massive. Can everybody see that? TikTok, Instagram. I design all the shirts and then I post them up. This one actually isn't on there. I make all these for myself. And this one too. Sweater. Can you see that? Cash flow, baby. Before you get your cash flow, you got to make your money first though. Joby Aviation electric taxis. Yeah, these electric. No, I haven't heard of them personally. But there's a lot of I see these articles, flying taxi, and they make it seem like it's here, and then they don't even have a prototype, or the prototype is first generation, and then they give you a date of 2024, and it's not going to be there by that date. It's all about we got to make progress and stuff, but and I know it's not necessarily a flying taxi, but I see those articles all the time. I want to see things in place today, but what people are looking for is the next Tesla. Tesla said they were going to have 1 million robo taxis on the streets by now. They said they were going to have the semi truck done by now. They said they're going to have the Roadster done by now. That hasn't affected the performance of the stock, I'll tell you that much. Definitely. For Lent, Relation dumping gold last week and creating a new SDR. Relation dumping gold? I'm not sure if that's a spelling error. Relation of dumping gold last week and creating a new SDR. Is that what you mean? Oh, okay. Gold. Okay, let me write this down. Gold and SDR. Okay. All right, I'm writing down all the questions you guys give me. If you have any questions for Lynn Alden, if you could just put like what I just saw, like for Lynn or to Lynn, and then I can create a composite of all the questions, okay? Yes. Can you show Instagram your setup? Should do a setup video on your YouTube. Yeah, so if you look at my stories, it's actually in there because I do a like a selfie style video, and you could basically see everything in that video. So except I have a cajon. Does anybody know what a cajon is? That's underneath the desk. That's really cool. If anybody knows what a cajon is, respect to you. Hit the like button, guys. Hit that like button. XRP. Yeah, I don't have a particular like, so there was a huge surge of like people were saying, oh, Ripple's going to be the next thing, back in 2017 or so, and there was a huge surge. The price went up like crazy, and they said, it was connected in with the banks, this guy's invested, that company's invested, this is going to be huge. So a lot of people were talking about XRP, and then the price obviously plummeted dramatically. Then we look further into the future, and now here we are 2021, and we're starting to hear about it again. I mean, it never went anywhere. What I think with all these cryptos, I want to see them in use. I want to see them in real transactions in a daily basis. I want to see different websites accepting them, and the reason, give people an incentive to actually use them actively and not just simply store them away and do nothing with them. Like, although some of them might be a store of value kind of thing, I get that, but at the same time, I want to see activity in them, and then I could say, wow, this is fantastic. Like, the only one I really saw a lot of activity in was Steemit. Steemit was fantastic. I used to use it all the time, and then I think it's still in use, but it just didn't go anywhere. It's really unfortunate because it was a platform that was decentralized, as far as I'm aware, or fairly decentralized. You could create your own cryptocurrency. You could exchange that cryptocurrency for anything else. It had a great platform. It was easy to use. They went through, there was a lot of bugs, certainly, but it was getting better over time. And like, that was something that was used regularly. I used it all the time. So I want to see more of that, but unfortunately I haven't. Cojones, yeah, different kind of thing. I have one, but it wrecks my back. But they make the lap cajones. Now that's where I'm at. Oh, really? Interesting. You should talk more about Canada and the difficulty we will face in the economy, the housing market in Quebec, who want to, yeah. So the second part I can't talk about, but the first part, yeah, it's going to be the housing market is a huge issue in Canada. It is the most important factor for the economy. We talk about the resources in Canada. Look, let's be honest. Real estate is the only resource in Canada. Real estate is everything in Canada. The oil market, there's a lot of oil. There is, but it's so difficult to get out. It's not that, like Saudi Arabia, you knock on the floor and you get a billion barrels of oil. It's not like that at all. There's a lot of processing. There's a lot involved there. So, they shut the pipeline down. They're making it more difficult. Like, we've got to be realistic. Like, there's so many jobs surrounding real estate today. It's overwhelming. Construction is huge. It's booming. It's absolutely booming. But I think at some point we're going to have to face the music. The prices are just ridiculous, and interest rates are extremely low, allowing this to continue. As soon as interest rates rise, and trust me, at some point they will have to rise, then we're going to be in for a world of hurt. I do talk about Canada. I noticed that whenever I do a video about Canada, the views are generally extremely low, which I don't really care about how many views I get, but I want to do the videos that people enjoy watching. So what I'll do is I usually don't title the video about Canada, but I do try to include Canadian information whenever I can. Think the Fed ever stops pumping the market? They will. They will reduce the amount that they print. How far they'll be able to go, I don't know. But I just read today, I think it's the Fed's Kaplan. Kaplan had suggested that by October, they are going to start the taper. This is a big day. I'm excited for it. We're going to do, if they do the taper, we're going to have a taper party here live. Okay, so stay tuned for that. They will announce that in September. So we might have a party in a month from now. We'll see. Question for Lynn. How is QE printing making its way into the real economy? As I understand it, QE gets trapped within the banking system, and those QE dollars cannot be used in the real economy. Yes, I mean, I'll ask her about that, but yeah, that is the way it works. Monetary velocity is declining as they pump money into the system, and then basically it's not as if helicopter money is coming in, going directly into people's bank accounts, and then that money can go out into the system. It's just buying treasuries and all this garbage. But yeah, I'll ask her. QE and monetary velocity. All right, good stuff. 3D printers, yeah. R2D2 likes the machines, apparently. R2D2 is talking about that. I did the interview, if you haven't seen it. I did the interview with the 3D printing company. They are 3D printing live on site, 3D printing a house. So if you haven't seen that video already, it's been a few weeks now, a few weeks back. So definitely check that out. They're never raising rates. Are you talking about? Yeah, of course they will. You got to understand, like, why would they raise rates if that's going to crash the market? They're not going to do that because they don't want to crash the market. And I would ask you, what makes you believe that they wouldn't want to crash the market? This is the best thing for them. Crashing the markets is the best possible thing if you're in control, isn't it? Still bullish on gold. So I like gold, I like silver, I like precious metals. I don't care about the price. Like what is today's price is not a factor. It's just not a factor. I never care. The only reason I show the price is because people are interested in it, and I know that, look, if I were to just make videos and do interviews saying gold price 50,000, gold price 20,000, I'll get a lot of hits, I'll get a lot of subscribers, but ultimately nobody knows. Nobody knows the future price of anything, and that's just a matter of fact. So, you know, I would hope that people get into gold and silver, precious metals, to hold it indefinitely. That's the ultimate goal for precious metals. Hold it indefinitely. I live in Indonesia. How come we're not seeing house prices inflation here as in the West? I'm not sure. I'm not sure specifically about Indonesia, but you know, I don't know what the interest rates are like there. If they're higher, I don't know why it didn't catch on there. I mean, there's probably a bubble in something, that's for sure. But I know that a lot of money has just been going into the United States in general, like into paper assets in the United States. So that could be where people in Indonesia are putting their money. Don't need to work. You can day trade from your phone. Don't want to get unemployment rate down, crash the markets, then everyone has to work a normal job. I can tell you things are messed up. Monero is how we farmers pay each other where I live. Atomic swaps should be a constitutional amendment. Interesting. That's good. Very good. Maybe hurts on copper and lithium long-term for EV production for the green clean push infrastructure bill impact on this, and also CCI can suppress the cost of commodity short long term. Okay, let me write some of this down here. copper, lithium for EVs, infrastructure bill, push green. Okay, good stuff. Like all the questions here, by the way. Question for Lynn and the Money GPS, thoughts on investing in emerging markets, also on second residence like a nomad capitalist. I would definitely, by the way, I tried to get nomad capitalist on. He didn't want, they didn't want to come on, but I still like his stuff. I haven't watched in a while, but certainly I do agree on the second residence. That's my opinion, 100%, no question about it. And thoughts on investing in emerging markets. Yeah, so let's talk about emerging markets. I'm writing all these questions down, by the way. Emerging markets, what do I think of them? I think that historically they are very low right now in comparison to the US markets, and that usually results in, kind of a reversal, at least for a period of time. I have seen the emerging markets already increasing interest rates. So by my count, and this is a little bit outdated, it was 22 rate hikes in the year 2021 so far from emerging markets, or actually globally, but most of that is coming from the emerging markets from what I understand. So when they start to increase rates, they start to be less attractive. So it's a toss-up, but historically right now, very cheap compared to US. Do you think it eventually get hyperinflation? We're talking about the US dollar hyperinflating. It might be difficult. I mean, there's no example of a currency not being destroyed by doing what they're doing. So it would be hard. It would be hard not to. But it's hard to determine. I really don't know. I think inflation is coming. Whether it's hyperinflation, hard to say. It's not going to be good. I'll tell you that. Whatever's coming is not good. What is your take on the lower price action in gold and silver this past week? What I had noted was that the 50-day moving average crossed over the 200-day moving average and probably triggered that big sell because there was like a flash crash of like $100 on gold instantly, and then silver followed after that. So I think that's probably just some technicals. I wouldn't worry about it too much in that case there. So, all right. Let's see what we got. All right. Lynn Alden. I want to ask her, how would you invest Bitcoin if you only have around 4,000? Investing in Bitcoin, smaller amount. Okay. All right. Thank you for the questions. No, my cap is really good. Sadie doesn't want to come on your channel. Yeah, it's okay. They replied, like the secretary did reply to me, asked me to clarify like what I wanted and this and that. I clarified and then never heard back. So I guess they weren't interested. They probably took a look at the content and said, no, thank you. Are you aware the IMF issuing $650 billion in SDRs potential? Yeah, so this, I believe this was the one I covered on the channel previously, Glenn. It's the give to the countries who supposedly need it and so on. This is just, they use every excuse. Anytime there's any crisis, the IMF comes out there and says, oh, we need to loan money. We need to loan money. Hurry. Nobody's calling for the IMF's help, okay? Nobody's asking for that. Nobody's asking for that, but they do it anyway. They force it upon the people, and then they can basically take, they try and take from these countries by putting them into I quoted in my first book, but basically putting them into a position they know they can't pay back. All right, let's see. Do you think the Fed ever stops pumping the market? Yes, I do. And if they taper and then things start going lockdown again, are they going to reverse it? It's possible, yeah. It's possible. But they're always like too slow on everything. So I don't know how actively they're going to be. Really, I mean, like you got to understand there's two levels to it. Okay, there's like the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, the FOMC, like what you see and all that, but there's a deeper level. And of course, if you study on that level, I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but if you just look into it, like read the Creature from Jekyll Island, you get a little bit more insight. But you got to understand that they're not there to support the market. They're not actively trying to make sure it doesn't crash. They're actually trying to create a boom and bust cycle and make it as devastating as they can each time. Look at the cycles of the past and you see it just gets worse and worse. It's not like they're doing that. They're doing it on purpose. Like, you got to understand, they control it 100%. Do you think the retail investor has any control over what's happening? Sure, maybe in one stock here or there, but not the market. The Federal Reserve is actively doing this intentionally. They set the interest rate. If it was set by the free market, the interest rates would be much higher. The Fed is monetizing the debt. They will keep printing. Monetization. No, see, like, that's like the one level. That's like the one level. The understanding is basically, yeah, a lot of debt. The Federal Reserve needs to buy it up so that this game can continue. But if you take it a little deeper and you realize, wait a second, they're actually trying to create a problem. Yeah, lithium will be the new gold. Certainly valuable. That's why they're in Afghanistan. Won't the Fed fund the trillions of dollars in the infrastructure plan? No, not the Federal Reserve won't do that. The government will do that. The taxpayer will do that. And they say they're going to, oh yeah, we're going to pay it out of this increase of, for rich people are going to pay corporate taxes are going to be raised. Tax the rich, tax the rich. That's how they get people to vote on any plan. They just say tax the rich. Okay. Quebec. All right. What do you think of buying shares in private companies? You better know that company. Just know that company. Make sure it's liquid. You can do, whatever you wish. I think that people should just have the maximum amount of data before going into any trade or any investment. Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Yes. Fantastic book. There's even a newer, updated version, which I haven't read, but I'm sure that's fantastic. The IMF ramping up issuance of the SDR. Yeah, okay. So we got another question related to that. Gold and the SDR, reserve currency. Okay, good stuff. Yes, like and subscribe. Don't forget to do that. Yeah, guys. So there's a thing. They changed the algorithm, not the algorithm, but the feature slightly. When you go to hit subscribe and there's a little bell, in that bell you have multiple options, like 3 options, and you have to hit the top option, which is remind me every time. It's really important, or you will not get all the videos. That's really key. Which country is a second residence? Okay. Is she aware of that? She talks about this kind of stuff? Second residence. All right. Good stuff. SDR. SDR is a totally fictional currency used by the IMF. They take your tax dollars and they create these SDRs, special drawing rights. It's a digital currency that people don't use, but this is the currency that for some strange reason they created on their own, and then they loan these out to the different countries so that they can basically manage whatever it is that they need to do. I don't know why the IMF is involved anyway, but Gregor Manarino, yeah. I've heard of him before. Many people have asked me, actually. Maybe I should reach out to him. Okay. The IMF is a predatory loan institution. Yeah, that's very clear. I agree. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens after the Fed tapers. I think they're going to go real slow. I think they're going to do really, really slow, and probably do, like, let's say 10 billion reduction in the mortgage-backed securities. Maybe they'll also do on the Treasury securities too. But I think the higher percentage is probably going to come from the mortgage-backed securities, knowing there's no business for them to be in. Like, do you remember this? Do you remember the term toxic assets? Like, what happened to that? Toxic assets. Again, nobody wants these garbage mortgage-backed securities. Yeah, so let's buy them. Let's use the Fed to buy them, so that nobody else has to touch this plutonium. You know, but now what's happening? They're buying it all. They're buying it all. What should one do with their bank cash? If you have a relatively small amount, I wouldn't worry about it at all. I think they're gonna probably take from the uninsured accounts before they go to the insured accounts. So I wouldn't worry directly about it. But you got to save your money in real assets. I think that's the important part. How and when does the US lose their reserve currency? It may not happen overnight. It may not be an overnight thing where suddenly you wake up and no longer is it. It's not, now it's China's currency or whatever. Like some people talk about that. It could just be a slow erosion. Right now it's at 59%. You got to understand, like, it's not 100% reserve currency. Sure, you may buy things internationally, and the majority of the time it's priced in US dollars, but it doesn't mean that it's the entire reserve currency. It's 59%. So that could, and it's been going down on average year after year. So it could continue in that direction. And if it does, of course, you just see that weakness, and you see they have less pull. But there could be a major event, a catastrophic event, which suddenly you have to convene all of the G20, the IMF, the World Bank, the BIS, like all these groups come together, and now they basically say, okay, we have a crisis, we got to change things around. No longer is the US dollar stable. We're going to bring in this IMF SDR. We're going to link everything together through the central bank digital currencies. So your money effectively being connected to this one world currency behind everything. You use your currency like normal, but behind all of it is backed by some sort of centralized entity, whether it is the IMF or whether it's something else altogether. Cooperation of the government, something. They come up with some new name, give it an acronym, and then everybody thinks it's fantastic. Okay. A lot of questions here, guys. Don't you need cash to purchase deals after the crash? Yeah, so like, for example, Warren Buffett, he's got $144 billion in cash. But is it cash or is it short-term US debt? And that's the difference, right? He's holding $144 billion of short-term US debt. So not necessarily like cash in the bank, different story, right? I think people should do whatever they want with their money, though. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. You want to hold on to cash, but at the same time, you don't know when a crash is coming, so you don't want to be entirely out of everything, simply waiting for that day, holding in cash as your money is devaluing. So, if you held for too long in cash and you weren't using it to pay down debt, or you weren't using it to buy an asset, and it was simply just sitting in the bank, every year they're basically taking from you. All right. Rental properties. Instagram's asking about rental properties. It depends on the area that you are in. Okay, very important. Some areas, they got the jobs moving in, they have relative stability. You're looking at the economy being in a good position. I think that it could be good if it cash flows day one. If it cash flows day one. If it does not cash flow and you're thinking, well, in the future this could be pretty good, no, I wouldn't get into it. I would not. You should always have 5K in hard cash just for emergencies. Yeah, it's good to have everything available for your emergencies. Lots of different things you should have. Should we sell the house in Canada right now, rent for now, and buy back later? I think you could. The problem is you could be making a big mistake by doing that. You never know, honestly, how high the prices can go. As long as interest rates remain low, prices can absolutely go higher. There are many other things that could happen, to disrupt that, but that's generally the way it is. Very low interest rates can absolutely push them higher. Morning from South Africa. Thank you for coming on in. Glad you're here. Short-term treasuries, yeah. U.S. debt. People still piling into real estate. We've seen this before. Oh yeah, big time. Big time. Yeah. Commercial real estate, I think it's probably the weakest link in the market for the markets right now. The financial system is looking at these. The financial system is looking for a pin to pop the bubble, and that is one that is really terrible. Commercial real estate, specifically with the office and the retail side, is just extremely weak. The derivatives connected in with it on the live session from yesterday, I talked about this. It is just terrible. All right. In TikTok's asking a question here. Thank you. What's the sector that's going to do good next month? Wow, that is very specific. What investors are doing right now is they're pouring money into growth stocks. Big investors are pouring their money into growth stocks. They are pulling money away from value stocks and into growth stocks. Whether or not that means what's going to do good next month, I have no idea. Don't listen to anybody who says they know what's going to happen. Although I can tell you a couple of YouTubers who can predict they can predict the future prices of things. Is cash in the bank in trouble? To a certain degree, yes. I wouldn't trust it at all. At all. Never trust your money in the banking system. That doesn't mean you don't use a bank. Doesn't mean you don't get your employer's pay into the bank, but you don't trust it. There's no reason to have cash in a bank, like actually save money in a bank. You should be saving it in real assets. But that means you gotta dig. You gotta dig into it, You need to know where your money is best place to put it. If you do, maybe there's a question here. Do you know any way to make money ASAP online? If you want to make money really fast, I wouldn't do it online. Like it sounds like you need money tomorrow or whatever. I just posted on my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can see the post, how to make money, 3 side jobs essentially: cutting grass, landscaping, okay, washing windows, and do social media management for lawyers, dentists, doctors, professionals, basically, chiropractors, whatever it is. Do their social media management. So these things here are the way you can get clients immediately. Like this week, you can get clients, you can make it happen. How do you do that? You put a very simple social media together, have your Facebook, have your Twitter, have your Instagram, post the same 10 things on all of these platforms, so that when they go to look up your company name, which could be any name you choose, they can find them there. You could say, hey, look at my social media, it's there. You can create a free website, just put a few pictures that you find, whatever it is that you want, and just get on the phone. Hello, You know people, you know your neighbors, offer them to do it at a super cheap price, and then you'll get referrals. You'll get referrals, okay? So maybe your first one, you're not making any profit, but the next one, you're actually able to make some profit. Yeah, if you're looking for a get rich quick, then that's definitely not the case. Growth stocks could be seen as like tech stocks. Just trying to read through your comments, guys. When is the interview with Lynn Alden? Yeah, so Lynn Alden, I'm recording the interview on the 17th, and then it will post after that, most likely on the Sunday morning following. So I usually post my interviews on the Sunday morning. So I record them at some point during the week, post them on the Sunday morning. How do you watch lives? You're watching me live right now. OnlyFans, somebody says, yeah. Sell oranges, sure. If anybody has oranges to sell, I'll buy them. What about an IRA? How would one invest in hard assets without taking money out and paying taxes? So there are companies like Goldco, which will help you. They know how to do the IRAs and everything, investing in precious metals. So I would start my search there. I'm not like telling you to go with that company, Goldco, but that's the place to start. Start your research there. Yeah, that's the best place. So you can, like, I know everyone's going to be different, but a lot of times you can move your retirement accounts in the US, like your 401k, you can move that into a self-directed IRA, and then from there you can pretty much decide where you want that. But I know there's a lot of different rules and regulations, so you got to talk to a professional about that. But I would look at Goldco, start there, if you're in the US. Lynn has been discussing recently about the US dollar may not remain the reserve currency for long. Okay, so definitely definitely we'll be focusing on that. Question for Lynn and GPS. Richard Warner explains that long treasuries follow nominal GDP moves. This would imply that the GDP prints revert to the mean lower, that yields will continue to drop. Okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, are we headed for deflation or inflation? That's kind of what everybody's thinking, right? Nobody really knows what's happening. What convinced her to change her mind on Ethereum? Okay. Thoughts on Ethereum. Okay. Is the Fed lying about inflation being transitory? You know what? Like, so there's there's two levels to that. Like, their core CPI inflation rate, which is like the highest level it's been in a very long time, that maybe that declines, maybe that goes down, but real inflation is not going down. At least I don't see any. I don't see any way it can in the. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's so crazy. Cash in the brokerage accounts. Yeah, like, you got to look. Is this insured? Is it insured? If not, those are definitely at more risk than the insured accounts. But I mean, look at the case of MF Global. MF Global, they took from segregated accounts. So anything is possible. Yeah, I believe people got their money back, at least most of it. But still, if they're going to take your money for a period of time, that's unacceptable. So, yeah, I wouldn't keep too much. I just wouldn't keep money in the brokerage just sitting around. A lot of it, if you're gonna kind of be in and out of swing trades or what have you, yeah, you're gonna have some cash there. Thanks and congrats on landing the interview with Lynn. You always have excellent questions. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm planning some future ones, other people to interview. It's hard to get a hold of people, to be honest with you. I've tried a bunch of people that haven't got back to me, but do what I can. Try to. Hello from New York. Thank you for coming on in. Yes, I will. I'll keep trying to get interesting people. You're on their system, on their rules, and they can change the rules of the game on a whim. That is true. You're doing a great job as always. Thanks for a great live show. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is sustainable to try and do this every single day, but I'm here right now to try and do my best. Try to get everybody in here. I'm trying to reprogram the algorithms. That has not worked. Channel is declining in subscribers, but just do what I can. Right. Question, Lynn. All US dollar denominated assets will change value when the SDR becomes a world reserve currency. How can we use their formulas to figure out the dollar value in the new world order reset? That is a very specific one. I don't think anybody knows, but I definitely will ask her to expand on the reserve currency, talking about the IMF, talking about this in general. I mean, I talked about this, the IMF and the danger that they pose back in my first book, and mentioned it again in my second book. And I've done many videos about it. I think it's really important. And in fact, I should do a video about it. I should do like sort of a deeper dive on that maybe this weekend. So stay tuned for that. I definitely have to. Awesome. Thank you, Manny. I appreciate that. Please help the channel. Folks, this gentleman is doing a fantastic job every day. We got your back, GPS. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, everybody for being here. All right, Instagram, Max from Australia. Good time to invest, he's asking. It depends on what so there's always something to invest in at any time. One of the people that I think is really good, who doesn't post very often on YouTube, Profit Market. I did an interview with Profit Market. It's probably like, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks ago, whatever that was. And he really explained a few things. He told me behind the scenes that basically explained it like this. Imagine 2020, March 2020, the market fell down, right? It fell down so fast. It erased the gains of the prior 2.5 years, just gone in an instant. So people who were astute were able to make 2.5 years of gains in like 3 weeks or whatever it was. So trust me when I say that there is a way to make money no matter the direction of the markets, but you got to learn more. The reason I mentioned Profit Market as well is because this channel kind of explains how to do some of these things. This is not sponsored. I thought the guy was a great guy. He does offer like a whatever you call membership on the YouTube, which I'm intending on joining. I'm gonna intend on joining that and try to get more knowledge directly from him. He in fact offered me one-on-one consultations for free because he said, if you are willing to then help your subscribers, I will give you time as much as you want, essentially. And the guy's got like 4 businesses. Like, I mean, the guy's super successful. And he said, I will spend my time with you to teach you one-on-one as well as when you're in that group so that you can teach your subscribers. So I really appreciated that. And as soon as I have a little bit more time, I'm going to get in on that and hopefully bring you guys some more details. Thumbs up with your YouTube videos. Yes. Do you think CAD is going to be on par with the USD because of inflation? Yeah, I mean, it happened. It happened, around the financial crisis time frame. It could absolutely happen again. There's no doubt about it. Like right now, probably not, but it certainly has strengthened. We've seen that, so certainly possible. Like next crisis, yeah, you could see a devaluation, but I mean, if there's a real deflation taking place, depending on how it unfolds. I mean, there's so many questions. As I'm talking, I'm thinking of all the different possibilities. If we have a deflation, you could see strength in the US dollar. So we'll see. You rock. Thank you. No, thank you. They may have some debt, but they also have boomer money handed down. What are we talking about here? See, millennials and boomers. Okay. Don't do away with this format. Cut back, but don't stop the live format. I think it may be maybe weekends or something. We'll see. I want to thank everyone for being in here. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. I'm going to just be going. I'll go for another 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to stop soon. Been over an hour. My eyes are burning. Hope you guys enjoy these videos. I try to make not just the lives, but just my videos in general. I see terrible performance on the videos, but I know that I'm getting a lot of positivity from people, so I just keep doing them. So thank you for watching. For those who do, the video I did yesterday, we got into so much detail, and I'm trying to really clarify and like make my points very succinct, excuse me, and try to keep the video down under 15 minutes. That's my goal. Trying to squeeze that down, definitely under 15 minutes. Try to bring it closer to the 10-minute mark. I'm also including a 1 short per day. That short is something that people can easily watch. They can get it on their mobile phone. At the same time, it's supposed to help you attract new subscribers. So we'll see. So far, not good, but we'll see. Enjoy this, nearly worth it. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for your fiat currency. I appreciate all the fiat currency everyone is giving. I thank you for that. Yes. Been watching a couple years. Thank you. Appreciate that. I enjoy the live format immensely. It is not easy, and thanks. Yes. Your style will bring more subs, hopefully. I'm hoping on that. I'm wondering if also part of the general like reduction in viewers is, you know, people are on vacation, people are doing this and that. They're not necessarily, they don't have as much time as they would like come September. For, you know, they're just out and about sort of thing. So that could be part of it, just a seasonal thing. But certainly the performance has not been good, and I'm just kind of hoping. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You all saw the truth. Okay, last time, I will never ask you again. Would you store metals outside of Canada to diversify for government safety? Depends how much you have, certainly. I wouldn't keep them all in one place. That's for sure. If you have quite an abundance, then you could. You could put them in Switzerland, let's say. Keep them secure over there. I think that's very stable. You're going to be paying a pretty penny, so it has to be worth it. So your channel is the only one that explains complex financial concepts simply. That's what I try to do. I try to really focus, really focus on that. So just really making everything almost too simple. Like if you look at my book, my first book, I actually use cartoons in it because I was like, how do you teach these crazy, like what is the Federal Reserve? Well, I got to use cartoons to explain it because I need to simplify it this much. And I believe I was successful in that. Although some people thought I was making a joke of it, which is absolutely not the case. Although it's kind of funny sometimes how ridiculous the Federal Reserve is. Okay, Instagram, quick. Are banks buying gold? Central banks are buying gold, and it's funny because they have unlimited printing press, and yet they're buying gold. Why are they buying it? Well, because they're trying to diversify out of the US dollar. Legend. Any one of the other profit market to learn from? I have never been in the market before. Anyone other than profit market? I would say start there, because once you start there, you're going to get recommendations for other channels. But he's the one that was really honest. That's why I like them. The other people, they go to sell you a course, they go to sell you this and that. And I feel like you get information, but maybe they're trying to do something else. Anyway, YouTube doesn't show you as live unless I go into the channel. So for that, make sure you got your notifications, and then you click the bell, and then it says all or something. The very top one, I believe it is, it says all. And I think if you don't click that, then it may not ever show you the lives, which is kind of silly. Kind of silly. Ray Dalio talks about hope of a beautiful deleveraging event at the end of a long-term debt cycle. What are the options on the table to facilitate this deleveraging, and which could be beautiful? I don't know what he means specifically, but I mean, that's a deflation that is countries and companies getting rid of their excessive debt, stopping this nonsense and risking so much. That where individuals are investing their money today, they're looking for the next hot stock, they're looking for the next hot crypto, they're not putting their money into sound investments, and the institutions are putting their money into commercial mortgage-backed securities, knowing that at any time they could absolutely unravel, but hey, you know what, everything's going to be okay. That's kind of what they do. So question for Lynn, is there an absolute ceiling on the debt, or does it not matter under MMT? Okay. Okay. Ray Dalio is a sellout based on his latest interviews. Don't worry about what he says or whatever. Read his book. People should be reading the books of these people, because you see an interview, it's taken out of context. I've been interviewed myself, and the questions, you get asked a question and you're like, yeah, it's hard to answer it in a way that you really want. You want to spend 30 minutes answering it, but that's only a 2-minute slot. You say something and you don't get to understand the context of what you're saying. So, but you can read his book Principles, which I would recommend doing. Okay. Overseas buyers not buying US debt would do it. Yeah, so far they are. If the US dollar starts to devalue versus its peers, it becomes more attractive. If people think that emerging markets are very, very risky at the time, what's going to happen? Money's going to flow into US. Okay. Well, I'm glad I caught this. Thank you for coming in. I'm gonna end this just in a minute or two. Thank you for your time and effort. Appreciate you watching. I've read his book. It is very good. Yeah. I just, for me, I'm so out of it. I'm just not aware of what's going on in the world, to be honest with you, in many cases, because I'm spending more time either reading books, listening to audiobooks, just keeping focus on my businesses. And I just kind of, who said this and she said that and all this kind of nonsense. I don't really know. It's funny because I don't know. I'm kind of out of it in that sense, which I appreciate. That's kind of the way I want it to be. Cheers. Thank you. I don't always agree with the Money GPS, but I like his open-minded approach. Him and Chris Cavaco are the only two I watch every week. Thank you. Yeah, I don't expect people to agree with me. But certainly I lay out everything on the table and I say, here you go, here's the data you need. I source everything. Very, very rarely do you find YouTube channels that actually source their information, and I give it direct from the source. Not, oh yeah, I found this article randomly online. No. If it's from the Federal Reserve, I give you federalreserve.gov or whatever, BLS. I give you the actual source and I put it in the description. And I think every single alternative news, every person should be pushing the alternative news to do that as well. We should be demanding that of everybody. It is so important because they can't say one thing or the other. They have to be looking at that official documentation, or they're just giving you opinion. And there is a lot of opinions out there and not enough facts. The Bank of Canada, didn't they get rid of all their gold? Ask Lynn about China's gold. Yeah, there's a lot of theory, but I'll ask. I will ask her, but there's a lot of talk about, hey, China's got so much and they're just not telling anybody and all this stuff. Oh, the PBOC. Oh, sorry, the Bank of Canada, not China. Sorry, 1 second here. Yeah, the BOC, the Bank of Canada. They, yeah, they got rid of theirs, as far as I'm aware. Intrinsic value of paper is close to zero. All fiat paper in the world has eventually reverted back to this. Yeah, it's true. Oh, but Japan. We talked about this in the interview I did. If you check it out on Sunday morning, I posted it with Lance Roberts of Real Investment Advice. We talked about Japan and their failure. So you can watch that in that interview. Fantastic interview that I did. Lynn Alden, the Money GPS, awesome news. Yes, she's coming on the 17th, recording the interview. It'll post a few days later. Bitcoin price prediction for the end of the year. Okay. Bitcoin price prediction end of year. Okay. It's hard to know for sure, but at some point, continual economic growth must stop. That is true. And they decide when. Yes, Crystal Ball is here. The Crystal Ball GPS, David Wong. I am late to the show, but the market should head higher and higher. Should. I sense some hesitation. David Wong, did you see the Fed's Kaplan? Fed's Kaplan has suggested that as of October, they will be beginning the taper. What do you think of that? Japanese stock market haven't recovered in 30 years. Yeah, absolutely. Where is it here? You're a saint, Dave. Get some rest, buddy. The market will still be puttering along tomorrow, buddy. Yes. But the work isn't done. I'm going to get off here right now. Yeah, 1 hour and 12 in here. Not going to taper. Well, they did in 2018, so. Thanks. Yeah, appreciate you all coming in. I'm going to end it there. Thank you all for coming in today. I appreciate your support. Stay tuned. I'm going to put right after this, I'm going to post the Money GPS short video. Highly recommend checking it out. It's a short video. I think it's like 30-40 seconds or something. Definitely check that out. Just give me 5 minutes to post it. It will be up there. And then tomorrow morning, I'll have a full video documenting everything, including the Fed's Kaplan, talking about the taper and so on. That's all for today. Stay tuned, not just for the Lynn Alden